Hello, and welcome to The Base, Big and Small Screens. Today, I'd like to talk to you about A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. This is one of the ones that kind of departs a little bit away from the usual formula, because of them all, the second one definitely departed away from the formula because by then there was only two of them, and the first one kind of established it. The third one played along the same formula as the first one a lot of the time, and the fourth one did much the same while expanding it a bit. This one plays with the formula a little bit because uh, we see right off the bat um, Dan and Alice in the opening credits. There's kind of very uh, interesting lighted scene and strong implication that they're having a bit of fun with each other. They're enjoying making some love. And from that, we end up having Alice go into the shower and it all plugs up, fills up with water. She's in a dream, ends up in an asylum, and sort of starts having dreams about Freddy again, to the point where there is somebody else that pops up, Amanda, Amanda Kruger, Freddy's mother, or the spirit of her, and ends up giving birth to the child known as Freddy. Well, that particular child, the baby, in the dream, goes and scuttles off back into the clothes that were left in the set piece at the end of the fourth movie, because they revisit that, and the baby gets into the clothes and becomes Freddy again. So Freddy's back. And a little bit later on, we find out that Alice is pregnant. She's got a baby, and it's Dan's baby. But Freddy's back killing Dan while both he and her were awake. So he's not using Alice's dreams to get to people like he was before. So what's going on? Um, but Dan's around. We also see a few other new faces. There's Greta, this beautiful young woman who is a model. There is, can't remember his name, but he's a bit of a nerd guy, likes to draw comic books. He feels faint at the sight of blood, but his comic books are all gory and everything. And then there's Yvonne. You know, Yvonne is an interesting character. She is, I believe, Latino, but I'm not 100% sure. Um, she's definitely got darker skin, uh, and she is a swimming, like she's into the swim team, training for I guess finals or the Olympics or whatever. And she has a nifty little hat, not like this, but similar to a couple of my other hats. So I really like the fact that she's a hat. She has a hat like that, and she is resistant to all this crazy talk about um, Freddy and everything. She is very much a extremely rational person, a very pragmatic person, and I kind of liked her character a lot. She had a very strong sense of individuality in her, um, and her and Alice were both really close. Um, but we end up finding out that Freddy is getting at people not through Alice's dreams, but through the dreams of Alice's unborn child. Because the baby inside her is dreaming, and it dreams a lot. So every time it falls asleep, Freddy is using its dreams to get to everybody else. There is uh, there's a wonderful scene with Greta and her mother because her mother is very, very controlling. We see that during the graduation ceremony that they have. Um, and it highlights eating disorders, bulimia, that sort of thing, in this particular death of Freddy's that he does. Um, that's one of the things that I've noticed about Freddy over all the movies is that some of the deaths tend to highlight problems that people already have. He tends to use it against them because it's something they fear, it's something they struggle with, um, and so it brings that issue to light a lot, which for a horror movie is a great thing to highlight these issues and highlight how destructive they can be. Uh, her death at Freddy's hands was, as somebody who's a bit of a big boy, as somebody who likes to eat, it it unnerved me. We'll put it that way. Uh, then we have what's her face? Because we got Dan's already dead. Um, he died trying to get to Alice, and Spencer, or not Spencer, no, that's the next movie. I can't remember the guy's name, the comic book guy. He ends up getting sucked into a comic and fighting Freddy in there, and there's some hokey special effects in that particular set piece, but the set design looked amazing. It looked so surreal, but also still real. I don't know how they managed to do it, but it was a good little bit. He turns into like his comic book character for a bit with like guns blazing and everything, but then Freddy comes back as Super Freddy. As I said, it's kind of hokey. Um, he goes after Yvonne as well in this one, but he doesn't manage to get her. Um, Alice manages to save her, and together, her and Alice come up with a plan. She's going to go in after Freddy, and Alice, or not Alice, Yvonne, is going to track down Amanda Kruger's body, set her spirit free, so that Amanda can take care of Freddy, which is basically what happens. Uh, Alice ends up getting her son over to her side um, because the little boy that she's been seeing, she finds out that's her unborn son. Um, while while fighting Freddy, pretty cool. Um, there's a wonderful scene where uh, Freddy is literally pulled out of Alice herself, where he's been hiding. So it's quite good in terms of the whole thing, and I like the premise of the using the dreams of the unborn child because how then, like you don't even have that measure of control of staying awake because Freddy can still get to you then. So subverting the usualness of what happens was a nice touch. Um, Overall, out of all of the movies, I know a lot of people say the last one, or rather the sixth one, is kind of the weakest. But I find this one, even though even though the sixth movie went pure camp, and even though I really like the subversion of uh, the normal rules that are set up for the series, I did find the fifth one to be the weakest of them all, but still a great movie to watch out. So I'm going to leave this episode here. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please give that like button a tap. Give that subscribe button a tap as well if you haven't already, so you can be kept apprised of when I do new videos. And throw a comment in the comment section. Uh, Let me know what you think about this movie, where it ranks on the seven that I'm discussing. And do all that. Until next time, you'll take care, and I'll see you next time.